Hey, my name is Haley. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another video. Today I want to take you guys through all the books that I'm going to be reading in October. I'm super excited for this month because spooky season. So I have a number of horror books, some library books, and just some random books from my TBR. I try to read a number of books from my bookshelf a month just to get through like the books that I buy. I just get so caught up in like what's happening that month, what books I have out from the library, all that jazz. So I never really get to the books that I actually own. So I've started trying to read the books that are actually on my shelf and kind of make that like the core part of my TBR. The first is The Odyssey by Homer, translated by Emily Wilson. This book got a lot of buzz a couple years ago when it was published because it was the first copy of the Odyssey translated by a woman. I listened to Overdue podcast, did like a whole series on this book, and it really just made me want to read it so bad. I love the Odyssey. I've read it multiple times, like in multiple different translations, so I'm really excited how this one is going to be different, like what is going to be different about this one. So I love the cover. It's a little flashy. I got this one as a Secret Santa gift at work, I think in 2018, so it's time. I'm ready to get into it. The next one I picked is a classic, and that is North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. I've never read this one. I've never actually read anything by Elizabeth Gaskell, but it's just been on my list for so long. And it really kind of sounds like the type of classic that I enjoy. I kind of get the feeling that it's a bit of a pastoral novel, a little bit of a romance, kind of giving me Jane Austen vibes, but I'm not too sure. Like, I really just don't know much about it. But I am also excited to get to this one. 2 really long books already. Just help me. God help me. The next is very timely, and that is Autumn by Ali Smith. This is a series that I've been wanting to get to. It's gotten a lot of praise and buzz here in the UK, and this is part of like a seasonal quartet, so there's also winter, spring, and summer. I want to pick this one up to see if it's worth getting the other 3 in the series, and I just thought this is the perfect time to read this one. So that's on the list. The next is possibly the scariest book that I've read in a long time. I'm not sure how to feel about that. That is Absalom by William Faulkner. I feel like I have PTSD from Faulkner. Like, when I was in high school and I first like read my first couple classics and I was feeling all very like high and mighty and proud of myself, I picked up The Sound and Fury by William Faulkner and it destroyed me. And I just feel like I've been avoiding him ever since. Now, I bought this book earlier this year and I can't remember what possessed me to buy it. I've seen a lot of people do this on BookTube, and that's where they read the book while listening to the audiobook at the same time. And I just thought that might be like a really good way of approaching this book, just because Faulkner is really known for being dense and complicated and difficult to read. So I did check out the audiobook from my library, and I actually listened to the first chapter yesterday, and the narrator is really good. He speaks in like a southern accent, and this is like a southern gothic novel, so I'm actually looking forward to like getting more into this one and like having somebody like guide me through Faulkner. This one is about a man who kind of comes into the South. His name is Sutpen. I think I'm saying that wrong. He comes into the South and he like builds up a plantation and riches and stuff. And if you know anything about Southern culture, especially like pre-Civil War Southern culture, it's very insular. There's like rigid codes of conduct, and he kind of stands out from that. And so this book is all about like his life, but it's told from varying points of view. So we don't actually meet him. We just meet him through other people, if that makes sense. So yeah, I just don't know what to expect from this book. I don't know if I'm going to survive it, but we'll see. You know that clip of Donald Trump when he's like this with water? That's what I look like right now. Last one that I randomly chose for my bookshelf is Sleeping Giants. Not even sure what this is about, but I think the cover is amazing. I know this is a science fiction book. That's all I know. I know it's kind of told in like a different kind of format. It looks more like an interview type format. And this was also given to me by a friend to read. So I am looking forward to getting to this one. And I also think it will be a good break from like the other stuff that I'm reading, because I do have 3 like classic type books, and then a decent amount of horror as well. So I think this will be like a good change of pace for me. Getting into the horror books that I've chosen for this month, I have The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. I've read We Have Always Lived in the Castle and The Lottery, so it's just odd to me that I've never read this one. I love how creepy and atmospheric her books are, and I'm really looking forward to kind of getting into this one, especially because I read The Woman in Black in September, so I just feel like this is like a good book to carry on that theme of haunted houses. And I'm also really looking forward to watching the Netflix show this month. So I'm hoping I can get through this one early so that I can move on to the show. And the next one, I am buddy reading with my best friend, Jessica, and that is my best friend's Exorcism. We were planning for something in the future. I don't know. I've heard really good things about this on BookTube. I know that it's kind of like an 80s throwback, and it has a lot to do with friendship, and that it is actually kind of scary. So I'm really looking forward to this one. And again, I'm just like obsessed with the cover. And I know we've all seen it, but it's just a class cover. The last horror book I chose, which is kind of going into my next section, which is library books I want to read, is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. I don't know too much about it, but I kind of get the feeling that it takes place in puritanical times, but it's more kind of fictionalized, and it's about a woman who lives in this really close-knit religious community and how she's kind of breaking out of that. That's kind of the vibe I get from the description. But I'm really looking forward to this one. Potentially the book I'm most excited for this month is Entangled Life, How Fungi Make Our Worlds, Change Our Minds, and Shape Our Futures. And seriously, just look at that cover. So I'm going to start reading this one ASAP because I got it from the library, and it has a really long line of people behind me, so I need to get it done by the due date, and I'm just really excited about this. I found out about this book through an episode of Ologies, and I'll link all the podcast episodes down below, and I listened to the author, talked to her about fungi. I've always been interested in like mushrooms, and I know they're quite popular as kind of like a decoration type thing, but my family's backyard was always had them, and it was always just so fun, and my mom used to make up these stories about them also, and it's just like I've always been so interested about them. And then when I listened to the episode of Ologies, all this stuff I didn't know about them really just blew my mind. So I'm like really looking forward to getting into this one and just like learning about little mushrooms. Also, you can't really see because it's a library book, but you can just tell that the inner like pages are just beautiful also. So I'm super excited for this one. The next two are just romances that I want to read that I got from the library, so nothing too special, I don't think. The first one is No Offense by Meg Cabot. This one is the sequel to No Judgments, which takes place on an island. I think it's called Little Bridge Island, and it kind of has like Key West vibes. I just like actually really loved the setting of it. I think because sometimes I'm here in the UK and all I want is to be on an island with like a beach and a beer. So I really just got those vibes from it. So I'm actually really excited to pick this one up. Even though it wasn't my favorite romance, I still just think that they're a great read. And this one has to do with a librarian. So I'm even more excited to jump into this one. And then the next is While You Were Reading by Berg and Michelle Kalus. This is by the same author duo that wrote the book Ninja. They're an Australian like author combination, and their books are romance, and they have to do with reading is like really integral to them. So I'm like super excited for this one. The book Ninja, if I remember correctly, is a romance about a girl who leaves her favorite books like scattered around town and on public transportation and stuff, and then kind of the shenanigans she gets into. This one kind of sounds a little bit similar, where this woman kind of finds herself like she doesn't really know how her life has gotten to where it's gotten to, and she finds a book with notes in it and kind of what comes from that. And so I really love the book Ninja. I really loved their writing style, so I'm also really looking forward to getting to this one. And I have a vlog planned for both of these. I figured it would be like a kind of cool idea to do like a break from spookiness. Let's read some romance. That's basically it. There are two books I have that I want to get to if I have the chance. I have Breadwinner, An Intimate History of the Victorian Economy. I put this one on hold at the library, and it was one of those things where like came in and I was like, why did I put this on hold? This does not sound interesting at all. But then I was reading the synopsis and it actually does sound really interesting. Basically about how the Victorians were kind of known for being like this time when like people were becoming rich and very opulent, and the economy was expanding and stuff, but not for everybody. And it was like these vast amounts of wealth were being built up, but actually like the income inequality was like widening. And it's just about how these people in the Victorian times like managed to live and stuff. So I'm finding it really interesting. I don't know if you've seen the movie Suffragette, but this is kind of the vibes I get from it, like how these women are working in a laundry facility, and it's just like horrible on their bodies. And then she goes home and her husband's been working like 12, 16 hours, and they live in this like little 1-bedroom, like tiny little flat. And it's just like, that's kind of the vibe I get for what this book is going to cover, families like that. So I'm really interested in this. I just don't know if I'm going to have time to get to it. The next one that I want to get to, but I'm considering saving it until November, is The Witches, Salem, 1692 by Stacy Schiff. And I've owned this book for so long. I bought it brand new, like when it came out. And I just don't know why I've never picked it up, because it's just like right up my alley. And it's the kind of nonfiction that I like to read. So I'm hoping I can get to this one. If not this month, then in November. So that is it. That is all I have for October. I say that's all, but it is like 13 books. So we will see. I did read 13 books in September, but I honestly kind of burned myself out on reading. So I don't know how it's going to go this month. I also am still reading Stephen King's It, and I want to finish that by Halloween. So we will see how it goes. I'm not too sure if I'm going to be successful, but that's okay. I'm going to try my best. Yeah, I hope you guys have a great October full of amazing books and tons of pumpkin spice lattes.